One of Bahrain's prestigious commercial development projects, the Bahrain Financial Harbour, and the man at its helm, Alex Craine, joining us on Bahrain This Week. Good morning, Alex. Thanks for taking your time.
Thank you. It's a very great pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Much. Right. So you joined, or you took over BFH in 2021.
I did in 2021 in the heart of the COVID era.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Which was obviously a huge challenge for everyone.
Yes.
But the great thing about starting then is the only way is up.
Yeah.
So COVID presented great challenges for us. One of the big attractions here is Harbour Gate. So if you have your office here, you have a lot of food and beverage and retail and things that make it a more attractive place for your staff to be. That took a hammering during COVID because people weren't coming into the office. Whereas now we're up to about 6,000 people coming into the offices most days. And so we've rebuilt that food and beverage offering. We've had lots of new openings.
Good.
And that's come back to health, and that's really helped us drive it forward.
Right.
It's been a very exciting time for us.
Yes. So my first question to you would be, you come with a very rich expertise and experience of over 30 years in the real estate field, isn't it? How do you think that has contributed to the 3 years at the BFH?
Well, thank you. That's a very flattering way of saying I'm old. Yeah, I mean, 30 years experience. I've worked in the UK and France and the US, and then 14 years now in the Gulf. I've worked as a consultant. I've worked as a developer. There's not really anything much that I haven't seen. And so, I know what's been tried. I know what works. It gives me a breadth of detail as well. So there's no bit of the business I don't understand. I know how FM and the technical side works because I've done that. I know how leasing works because I've done that. And so it makes it easier to take that overview and make sure the strategy is set right and then delivered right down to the fine detail. Because what we try and offer here is not just space for people to have shops or offices, it's actually an experience. And that's all about detail. It's in some ways similar to the mindset you need for running a hotel. It's about hospitality as much as anything else.
That's right. And to describe BFH, we would call it the symbol of Bahrain's economic transformation. I'm sure you would agree with me.
I would.
How do you look at the future? What is your vision for BFH in this changing, especially the regional landscape?
Yeah. I mean, I would say that BFH is, it's in its second phase of growth. So in terms of our leasing and bringing new tenants to BFH, the last 3 years post-COVID have been record years for us in terms of the amount of space we've leased to people. This year is going to be our best ever year. I know it's still early in the year, but I know that because we're just in the process of finalising the wording of a lease with a very large client who's coming here and bringing 400 staff here. So it's really starting to fill up. But beyond the buildings, the whole estate is changed significantly. We now have from our sub-developers like Infracore, they've delivered Harbour Row, so we now have people living in BFH. We have 1,100 apartments, which we'd never had before in our history, and obviously that changes the dynamic. We have Chart House Hotel, which is open, operated by Infracore. Conrad Serviced Apartments by Hilton are due to open in the first quarter of this year as well in the Cycle building. And then there's a third Pearl House Hotel opening. So that's bringing Sushi Samba, it's bringing Rocker, it's bringing a whole bunch of high-end food and beverage offerings, as well as waterside food and beverage under Harbour Row. It's changing the dynamic, and it's making us a lot more of a destination as well. So the future really is to continue more of that. We've got very creative in how we create space for tenants. We've invested a lot of money in building out new space, because when I arrived, a lot of the space we had is just bare, what we call shell and core, bare concrete. Nobody, or very few people in the market want that. People want nice fitted out offices. So we have to invest in doing that and be creative in creating a product that looks fresh and contemporary and new. So even though we're a landmark, we're part of the skyline, we're on we're part of the, we're a national landmark.
Yes.
I was thrilled when I arrived in Bahrain and drove down to Zalak and saw there's in the tiles on the underpasses, there's images of our building. So it's a national icon, but we're still fresh and contemporary and new and at the cutting edge of doing that. And we're very lucky that the building infrastructure is actually properly international standard. So a lot of the stuff you don't see, the data cabling, the power supply, the floor to ceiling height, the efficiency of the floor plates, all that is international standard. And we're just investing to make the most of that and make sure we deliver what the market wants.
Right.
It's been very encouraging as well. The average size of lease that we are agreeing now for tenants has doubled in the last couple of years. And like I say, last year we leased more than twice our average from 2015.
Okay.
The year before we were doing about 50% our average. This year we'll do probably 3 times our average run rate. So the number of new tenants coming and opening businesses here or moving their business here is increasing. And I hope that that's an indicator of what's happening in the Bahrain economy generally. People are taking larger spaces, they're expanding, they're growing, and it bodes well for Bahrain.
Right. And no doubt about it, the blend is beautiful, and BFH has its own beauty, adding to the landscape of Bahrain and to the larger region. Now, with all these bright side that you just portrayed, I'm sure it comes with a lot of challenges.
Oh, yes.
Especially in this field of the real estate and the financial sector, and the regional landscape itself is having a lot of challenges. How do you look at these challenges and how do you intend to turn them into opportunities? I'm sure you have a lot on the plate.
Well, we do. I mean, challenges are all over the place. I mean, obviously one is interest rates and cost of obtaining funding. Sustainability is another challenge, which is clearly an opportunity. Our sustainability strategy is kind of in 2 phases. The one that's the absolute no-brainer, which is just reduce your utility usage, through very small investments in things like changing to LED lighting and putting water diffusers on taps and checking the water and the flush in WCs. You can cut down your utility usage and your payback's less than a year, and you'll reduce your running costs that way. We're now exploring putting photovoltaics wherever we can. We have a couple of very big car park roofs, and we're probably going to partner with a major energy company in Bahrain to produce more of our own electricity. It's easy to do that in Bahrain because the government very sensibly has set the input tariff the same as the output tariff. So you don't need batteries as you do in some countries where what you sell your power to the grid at is less than you buy it back from. Here it's same as pass through. So it's an easy environment to do solar, and there's a lot of government support for that. We face threats like any other development. There are new offices being built. We can see out of the window the Future Generations Tower being built, probably about half a kilometre away from us, and people will go there. The thing about challenges is they force you to get better. Complacency is everybody's enemy. And as I said earlier, what we're trying to do is not just offer space, and we're very lucky in the quality of space that we have is great. We're a beautiful, curved, elegant structure, but actually we're just a series of stacked rectangles. So the floors are nice, square, efficient floors. The whole Middle East market is bedeviled by buildings that are designed to look great from the outside in. And we see that with some of our competitors, elliptical floor plates, circular floor plates. They're not the most efficient. So, because we've got nice square floor plates, people don't actually need to lease as much space to get people in. So that's a major advantage we have. But where we can compete is on service and experience.
Yeah.
So that's why we've put a lot of attention. I hired a retail leasing specialist to have a proper strategy for Harbour Gate and all the ancillary services we have and the food and beverage we bring in. And, we've opened, I think, 4 new food and beverage outlets in the last 9 months, including a shisha cafe. So you can now come in and dine and smoke shisha till 2 a.m. here, which you've never been able to do. All that and the customer service ethos we have makes it a place that people will want to come. And plus, we take a flexible attitude. We're real estate's about deals, and we try and make deals work for everybody.
Right. I would love to shift gears now.
Okay.
After making a comment on the beautiful office that you have, as we just mentioned, you see different shades of the sea every day, isn't it? The
sea is fantastic. I mean, my office here is on the 30th floor. We're only halfway up the building.
Yeah.
I still never tire of the view. Today it's beautiful turquoise. You can see the sandbanks and the reefs. Sometimes the tide's high and you don't see that. Yesterday the tide was very low, and you could almost walk out to Reef Island from here.
Right.
It's beautiful. And yesterday you could see very clearly the Saudi coastline, Dammam and Al-Kabar there. It never changes. If you look out this way, you can see the planes landing at the airport.
Okay.
And then in the evening, you've got the city view. You've got a whole of Manama down to the Bay of Bahrain, Sitra, Tubli, all glistening jewel-like at night.
Beautiful.
It is stunning. And the sunsets.
Yeah.
I never go home early because I like to see the sunsets here.
And the desert sunsets are beautiful, irrespective of the weather. Now, what more can be an inspiration to the musician in you?
Well,
Before you go into that, I'm sure at least half of Bahrain knows that you are into music. You're a passionate musician. But tell us what's new about it and its special genre of music that you love. Tell us a little more about it.
Well, I have very broad tastes in music. I'm a total music nerd.
Okay.
And so, my current music project is a Bahrain-based project called Night Dippers, and that's blues. And it's the first time I've ever done blues. But I had my other band based out of Dubai is a punk rock band. Mm-hmm. So that's obviously very different. But over the years, I'd written songs that I was never going to use in a punk rock band because they were blues songs. Okay. They were emotional songs. They were about the more vulnerable side of human beings. Mm-hmm.